Come on in, come on in. Happy, happy, happy Friday. We made it through another week. God has blessed us to see what's another day. And you know that's right. This is your girl Bunny over here about to start with her story time. This is part 2 out of 3. Guys, I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm gonna tell you, I hope everything went well with you since the last time you was spending time with your girl who? Hey, beauty lover, hey. Listen, I hope everything went good for your girl, went good for you this whole week. I hope you had a fabulous, fabulous time. Hey, K So Blessed. Hey, Trina. Hey, Barbie. Barbie, you at work? You at work? Thank you, Liz. Oh my God, she made it. I was so worried. Thank you. Ah. Guys, as you come in, this is part 2. Yes, this is part 2. Grandma's journey. Grandma's journey. Grandma's journey. Guys, I hope you got it right because you know it gotta be spiked. This is all we doing tonight. We ain't playing no games. I made it. No date night. Thank you. I was worried because I didn't know who I was going to use. And it's you. Okay. Thank you so much. I got you. Thank you, Liz, for looking out. I got you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, guys, get your stuff because this is going to be a part 2. What do you think about? Oh, thank you, Liz, because I don't even know what that's about. Thank you, Liz. This is a story time. We need nothing but positivity over here with your girl Bunny. We come to talk it nothing but 100 over here. I keep it real. So my part 1 of I'm No Longer Your Kickstand was about the man who helped create me. And listen, let me explain something. I feel so free. I feel so free that I got all that shit off my chest, y'all. If you didn't view I'm No Longer Your Kickstand, you need to check that video out. Go check my live out from last Friday. Okay. Listen. So who we're going to talk about this week for part 2, we're about to talk about because I have a vision impairment. Because I have a vision impairment. And see, when people have disabilities and stuff, you should never judge because you don't even know. Okay, thank you. Let me do it. Thank you. Okay, guys. So let's just get to this. Thank you. All right, so let's get this. We're doing part 2 to I'm No Longer Your Kickstand. Meaning, like, have you ever had somebody in your life that you wanted them more in your life than, okay. Have you, hey, postal planning, that's what, Scorpio season. Listen, have you ever had somebody in your life that you wanted them more in your life than they wanted to be in your life? Well, that was for, part 1 was about the person who helped create me. Part 2 is about the person who carried me. Now I'm going to tell you. Okay, thank you. Got you. So I'm going to tell you, let's get started. It's about the woman who carried me. She's not my mother because my mother is my grandmother. Now, y'all want to hear some stuff about Bunny that y'all ain't never hear. And you're going to hear, this is my story. Nothing but positivity, but I got to get it off my chest. Because going into 2025, I'm all the way live. Let me get my XXL that's spiked. Now, okay, I'm gonna start off. I was born to, this is no excuses for her, but I was born to a mother who was a teen mother. She got pregnant with me when she was 17, and she had me a week, because her birthday is in May too, a week before she turned 18. My mother was raised by two parents, her mother and her father. She come from a good background. You know, we all have little dysfunction areas and different things like that. But she decided to take a different choice in her life. She decided to become an alcoholic and a drug user. I can remember countless times as a child witnessing her use drugs and drink, hanging out in bars. And I'm going to tell you stories that I went through in my childhood because of the woman that carried me. She's not my mother. She's the person that birthed me. But just because you carry a child and give birth to a child does not mean you carry the title as a mother. The title of a mother is something that's earned. You should not, thank you for my hugs. You should not be called mom, mother, or anything in that area if you don't deserve it. Now I understand people have hardships and they go through different things in their life, but what they need to understand, when you have a child, that's your responsibility. You can't decide that, oh, I'm only 18. I decided that I don't want to raise my child. Well, that's my story. Before I was even born, now this story came, I need y'all to understand what I'm about to say. This story came out of her mouth. Before I was even born, she told me, when I was young when she told me this story. I was young, but I remember. She told me before I was born, and when she found out that she was pregnant, she didn't want to keep me. She tried to have an abortion. She said that she took a hanger and inserted it in her side herself. This is not for children, to try to have an abortion with me, because she said she didn't want me to mess her life up. Now imagine being about 8 or 9, 10, somewhere around that age, hearing your mother tell you she didn't even want to have you. So guess what she did, y'all? Listen to this shit. After she gave birth to me, she left me in the hospital. Told the nurses she was not taking me with her, and for them to call her mother, which is my grandma. Hey, Nightlife! Hey, Tanya! She told the nurses to call her mother, which is my grandmother, who's my mother now. My grandma worked at that hospital. She went to the hospital in Philadelphia, where I was born and raised, picked me up from the hospital, and brought me home. The sad thing, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all, the woman that carried me she never loved me. She never desired me. She never hugged me or kissed me. She always said that I messed her life up. This is all I ever heard from her. My grandma brought me home from the hospital. She was still in high school, and because she got pregnant with me, she was in Catholic school. They kicked her out. She tried to go to a school where it was like a school where girls got pregnant, that was teenagers and stuff like that. She never completed high school, so she dropped out. She blamed that on me too. Fast forward to where I can really remember all my life. My grandparents have been there for me. And I'm going to start from where I was around maybe 6 or 7. She was in and out of my life. My grandma always tried to reunite us. She tried to make her be a parent when she didn't want to be a parent. She didn't want to be a parent. I am the oldest out of 9 children. It's 6 girls and 3 boys, and she would have had 10 kids, but 1 died. So this is my story. I'm the oldest. When I was about 5, 6, I can remember the woman that carried me leaving me in the house alone with my younger brother. We 2 years apart. Hey, international budgeter, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a story time about my life. It's not going to be an easy story, but listen. Yes, kept having kids. So, like I said, I'm the oldest out of 9. When I was about 5 or 6, my grandma, which is my mom, bought a house. She bought a house for my mom when she had kids. It was a 2-bedroom house. It was a row home back in Philly. But my grandma bought her a house. She didn't have to pay nothing. It was paid for. She bought her that house because she had me. And she wanted to make sure that she wasn't homeless. So she probably bought the house maybe when she was around 20. Because from birth to 2, my grandma always told me she had me. She tried to have her in my life, in and out of my life. She, the woman that carried me, would lock me and my little brother in the house and go out and use drugs. How my grandma knew we was in the house, because what I need y'all to understand, it was a deadbolt lock on my door in the inside. So in order for me to open my front door, I had to have a key stuck inside to turn it to open the door. She never left a key in the house. So thank God the house never caught on fire, because if I had to get my brother out and myself, we probably would have died. But what I learned to do at an early age, my grandma lived on the same street that I lived on, but maybe 10 houses up, but the same street on the same side. I ain't had to cross the street. And we would be in the house hungry. Me and my brother would be eating dry cereal. Yeah, I'm telling you, we would be eating dry cereal or whatever we can have. I'm sharing my story with y'all, not to be judged, but I don't give a fuck what you think. This is my story and I'm telling it. I'm sharing it so people that go through this or have been through this, to let you know where you come from is not where you going. So I don't look like my story I'm telling tonight. So me and my brother, we eat dry cereal, sometimes stale bread, whatever. So I realized I can open the kitchen window, climb out the kitchen window with my brother, go through the alley and walk down the alley to my grandma's house. Because as I said, it was on the same street, the same way. So once I realized that, I went to my grandma's house and I'd be like, Grandma, she left us. We home by ourselves. And she might be like, how long you been home by yourself? I really didn't know. It could have been days. It was more than like she left me that day and came back that night. That's not my story. She would leave me for days with my brother in the house. And if I was 6, he was 4 because we're 2 years apart. Okay, guys. So I'm going to fast forward. So I kept on breaking out of the house to go down there to my grandma. Till one day she told me, you're not going back in the house. So she came there looking for me. And my grandma told her she got to get herself together. If she want to keep us, she got to get herself together. She can't keep doing this because somebody can call who? DHS. Did she listen? Mm-mm. She continued to do it. She continued to leave me. She continued to leave my brother. And then, because remember, she didn't want me. She would beat me and never beat my brother. She would beat the shit out of me with extension cords, brooms, whatever she could find. Because I left the house to tell my grandma, and she would tell me what goes on in her house, stay in her house. And I would be sitting there looking like I was hungry. So what she started doing, y'all, is now she's not locking us in the house. She's still leaving us alone, but now she's giving me food stamps. Who can go back to where it was books as food stamps? And, she would rip the $10 out, the $5 out, the ones, y'all remember the food stamp books back in the day. And she would leave it. And it was a store that was like 2 blocks away. Now, this was going on for years. So maybe by now I'm about 8. I would go to the store, get me and my brother a hoagie. I knew this. I don't even know how I knew, y'all, but I knew to go get me and my brother one hoagie, split it, get us juice, candy, all kind of shit. And we would go in the house, and sometimes we would just eat. Like, just eat, because I'm like, we got these food stamps. I'm just going to eat. Now, mind you, I'm going to school. Hey, Leah, thank you. I'm going to school as an 8-year-old. My grandma is sending me to Catholic school. So I'm in Catholic school. My grandma paying for me and my brother to go to Catholic school. I'm at 8, getting me and my brother up every morning by myself, getting us dressed. Now, probably sometimes the clothes might have been dirty, but I would ask my grandma because she washed them. Then my grandma bought the woman that carried me a washing machine. Now I'm gonna hit you back with this shit. She brought us a washing machine, no dryer, a washing machine, and she came and she hung lines out in the back. My grandma did. She taught me how to use the washing machine, and this particular washing machine had 2 rolls like this. I'm telling y'all this story for a reason, and this is how things changed. It had 2 rollers like this. 2 rollers like this. And you was, hey, Fifi! It had 2 rollers like this, and you would stick the clothes in the middle, and the clothes would wring out. And then you would take them out, and you would hang them up in the yard. Do y'all remember that? Can y'all remember those washing machines that didn't have a top, and it just went like this, and then they had the 2 rollers, and you stick the clothes in between the 2 rollers to dry the clothes out. So one day, as I said, she would leave me for days. Me and my brother was in the house. I called myself washing clothes because I know we need clean clothes to go to school, because I don't want to get in trouble, and I don't want nobody looking at us because I have enough sense. I'm about 8, almost 9 now. Now remember, the first person wasn't in my life. He left me and don't even know I was going through all this shit. But did he care? No. So me and my brother's in the house, and I'm washing clothes, and I'm upstairs, and he called himself helping me. So if I was about 8 or 9, he's 2 years younger, so he about 7. You know what he did? My brother was trying to help me out. So he took the washing machine, stopped. I must have been upstairs or wherever I was at. The washing machine stopped. He took and tried to put the clothes through them two ringers. And guess what happened, y'all? His arm got caught. Now I'm a child home by myself with my brother. His arm got caught in between the two rollers, and his arm started burning. I unplugged the washing machine. I'm trying to figure out. By this time, we got a little house phone. I always knew my grandma's number. I called my grandma, but she at work. I called my dad. He comes down there. Then they got to call the cops because now my brother got to go to the hospital. So I'm 9. I'm not really knowing what's going on. So my dad take me and my brother to the hospital, St. Christopher's, that was on Lehigh Avenue back in the day. It used to be on like 2nd or 3rd and Lehigh. We get to the hospital, y'all. And the doctors is talking to us. And they asking my dad, but remember, my dad couldn't read or write. So they asking my dad questions. He's not my grandma. So he can't really say what's going on. So they asking me like, hey, so what happened? Where's your mom at? I'm like, I don't know where she at. Well, what happened to your brother? And I was like, well, I told the truth. We was home. We was washing the clothes and his arm got caught in between them two rolls on our washing machine. Your mom, who helped you? How did his arm get out? I said, I did it. Because I was trying to pull the things up, but I really didn't know. So I pulled his arm out with it, and it was burning, and it was broke now. So it was like, well, why your mom didn't help? And I said, she ain't been there. And they was like, well, how long she wasn't in? I was like, maybe yesterday. Maybe yesterday. And the doctors was like, huh? You been home with your brother all night by yourself? And I'm like, yeah, because y'all got to remember, I've been going through this stuff since 5 to 6 years old, being left in a house alone with my little brother. They told my dad, oh, they ain't going back with you. Hey, coach. Nurse Kelly, hey, they not going back with you. So my dad is confused and he like, wait a minute, I gotta call my wife. Now y'all know it wasn't no cell phones or nothing back then. You know that wasn't there. Let me see. If you got something, do what you do. I don't know if it's tea, drink whatever you drinking. Just I ask, when I take a drink, you take a drink. It's just wine. So now I knew my grandma worked at what? Temple Hospital in Philly. I was like, my grandma's a nurse. My grandma's a nurse. And he was like, your grandma's a nurse. I was like, yeah, my grandma's a nurse. She's a nurse. She work in a hospital. Well, what hospital she work at? I was like, Temple University. Because my grandma taught me she taught me this stuff. Like if something happened, I'm not home, I'm at work. This is what you tell them. Tell them your grandmama's a nurse. Tell them my first and last name. Taught me how to spell her name. I was a child. She taught me everything. My home phone number, my address. My grandma did not play. And I knew. She taught me this. If something ever happened, you tell them this. You tell them this is weird. You tell them that. So my dad is there. He was like, yeah, my wife is a nurse. My grandma was a registered nurse. Yeah, my wife is a nurse. She was an LPN first, then she went back and became a registered nurse. I guess so. He was like, yeah, my wife is a nurse. She worked at Temple. Her name is da da da. Because you remember, my dad he don't really rock with it. You know, he a construction worker. He just know how to work. He really can't even explain the stuff. So my grandma catch a taxi down to the hospital. By this time, a DHS worker was there, and it was this man. He had blonde hair and blue eyes. He asked me my name. He asked my brother his name. He asked us how old we was. I told him what my birthday was, because y'all know how I feel about my birthday. Yes, God bless my grandma. I'm going to tell y'all, if that's why I'm trying to tell you, where you come from is not where you want to end up at. But I'm telling y'all my story so you'll know, Dad, Bunny was able to make it out of that situation. Bunny all right. This now I ain't saying I ain't have issues and I don't go through stuff, because that was trauma. So now the DHS man is there. He's talking to the doctors. He's trying to talk to my grandma, because my grandma done made it up there. My dad is there. And they say to my grandma, your grandchildren been left alone such and such amount of time. Did you know that? And my grandma told the truth. Like, no. Because normally when I get left home, I was going to my grandma's house. But she beat me so bad, y'all, with belt buckles and whatever she could find, that I was scared of her ass. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm not going to grandma. Because if I go to grandma and she send me back down here, all I'm going to do is get in trouble and get a beating. So anyway, my grandma was like, listen, they was like, listen, we gonna have to put them in foster care. My grandma was pleading with them like, no, I'll take them. They can stay with me. I'll take them. Me and my husband, we got them. This was me and my little brother that was right under me. By this time, y'all, the age that I'm at, she done had one more child, and it's my little sister that's under my brother. But her family, because what I need to say is, I'm the oldest out of 9 kids, and I got my own dad. Like, that man that birth, helped with the sperm and all that. Yeah, that's only me. She had 9 kids, but she had about 7 baby daddies. So my grandma's signing the paperwork, and they like, okay, I'm going to give them to you, but I'm going to be coming to your house to check. Because my sister that's under my brother that's behind me, family had money. He came from money. He used to come to North Philly to do what he did in North Philly, because he lived out in the suburbs. He didn't even live in Philly. He lived on the outskirts. His family had money. He came down there and seen my sister, and how now I'm being left with the 2 younger siblings, and they came past here to check on her, and she wasn't there. They then, right then and there, took my little sister, and she never lived with us. Hey, Diane! She never lived with us. So she was raised by her father's family. So me and her don't really have a relationship, because she don't really understand. But as years is going on, so now I'm about, I don't know, 10, 11. I'm still in Catholic school, and now things really go for a change. I'm in Catholic school. She come past the house. She all drunk and high up, and she beat me. And it was in the summertime. She beat me. It was in the summertime. And if anybody know, when you go to Catholic school, you got certain uniforms you wear. You wear short sleeves in the summertime and long sleeves in the wintertime. But that's the uniform. You can't wear a long sleeve in the summertime. It didn't work like that back in that day. She comes to the house. She beat me so bad I got webs all over my body. Sad to say, I still got some marks that she put on my body. And I still can see it to this day. She beat me. She beat me bad. And we had to go to school, me and my brother under me. Summertime. I had a teacher at the Catholic school that I went to. She actually felt so sorry for me that she wanted to adopt me. I came, it was an incident when because she beat me the other time, but when I came to school this time, and it was in the summertime, and I had on a sweater, and she told me to take my sweater off, and I told her no. Why did I tell her no? Because I didn't want her to see the bruises and the webs that was all on my arm. So I knew to keep the sweater on because I'm thinking, okay, if I keep the sweater on, won't nobody know I got beat up. I got a beating last night. Won't nobody know it. She tell me to take my sweater off. I say no. She pulled me out of the hallway and she called me by my name. And she like, take your sweater off. And I'm like, no, Miss Cox, no. Can't do it. Why? Am I going to see something? And that's what I did. She was like, take your sweater off right now. Now, I went to a Catholic school, but she was called a late teacher because she wasn't a nun. Like, I had nuns as teachers too. I took my sweater off. She seen all them bruises on my arm. She marched me right to the principal office. They was like in a conference room, you know. She called the sister because our principal was she was a nun, so we called her sister so and so. We had to call DHS. Now I'm crying. Like, damn, you done fucked up again. Here you just couldn't, you should have just not even went to school. But then if you don't go to school, then you get in trouble because then they call your grandmom because you missed school. Because now, at this time when she beat me, I was no longer living with her because my grandmom had me and my brother staying with her. So she knew my grandma wasn't there that night because she knew my grandma's work schedule, and she came in and beat me. Didn't beat my brother, but beat the shit out of me. By now, I have another sister that me and her is like this. My sister, my only sibling that I speak to out of 9 of the motherfuckers, because they all cut. I could do a story time on each one of them. But I'm not. My sister, I'm going to call her Lady B. My sister, Lady B, we 10 years apart. So by now, my whole schedule changed. So listen to what I had to do, and I was only 12. Now you remember I've been taking care of my brother that's right under me this whole time. But now I got my sister Lady B. She's born. We 10 years apart. I gotta get up in the morning, make sure I have my clothes. My brother has his clothes, and my little sister that me and her is 10 years apart have her clothes. Plus I had my aunt daughter, my little cousin, that's my goddaughter. I had to have her ready. I had to drop my sister and my little cousin off to daycare and then walk me and my brother to Catholic school. Because you know Catholic school go from K to 8. When she had me take my sweater off, y'all know she called DHS. And it was already an open case from when my brother arm got caught in a washing machine because he was trying to help me take the clothes out. So I'm pleading with her, like, please, no, because I'm not, she don't live there. She just came there because, you know, I'm under my grandma now, and my grandma is not mean to me. My grandma's good to me. She love me. Please don't call him. Please. I'm pleading. They like, no, we mandated reports. We gotta report this shit. They ain't say shit, but that's the same teacher that wanted to adopt me. So now they call DHS come. Now we are removed from my grandma's house and we in foster care. So it's me, my brother, and my sister, I'm gonna call Lady B. We in foster care. So because my sister was about 2 and my brother was about 10, they kept them together. And because I was 12, they put me in this older, like, foster home type of setup. Now, I'm sad, I'm crying, I'm like blaming myself. I'm walking to school one morning because I could walk to my Catholic school from the foster care where I lived, where I was staying at for like them 60 days. I'm walking to school one day, and who run up on me but that person that carried me? Called me all kind of bitches, told me she couldn't stand me, she wished I was dead. I took her kids away from her. She started fighting me. And I'm 12. I'm fighting her. I'm fighting her back. And we fighting. And she was like, she hate me. She was, all kind of stuff. Like I can't even, because I'll start crying. I can't even begin to tell you half of the stuff she said to me that day and ran up on me. And all I'm trying to do is get to school. I get to school. I called my grandma and I told her what happened. I was like, Grandma, such and such came up on me. She done fought me before I came to school this morning. And I was like, Grandma, if she do that again, I'm a killer. I meant that shit. Because I was tired of being beat, being abused, being like mistreated by her when I didn't even ask to be born. I didn't ask for that. So my grandma praying with me on the phone because she was a praying woman. And I went to my teacher because she was my teacher and that was where I was at. And she was like, called me by my real name and gave me a hug. She was like, you know what? You're not by yourself in this. She was like, I got you. She was like, listen to me. If I need to quit this job so I can adopt you, I would. She was like, because I love you. You're a strong girl. Because me and my brother was still, in school. And they wouldn't see my brother because, he was in foster care and he was somewhere probably like in South Philly. I can't really remember. In a foster home with my little sister. So we going back and forth to court, y'all. Back and forth to court. I'm still going to school. We going back and forth to court. Back and forth to court. And then they had put me, my brother that was under me, on the stand. I'm sorry if I got y'all crying, but I appreciate your sympathy, like your empathy with me right now, because I'm really, when I'm telling these stories, I'm really visualizing the stuff that I really went through at that time in my life. And if you feel like you can't protect a child, love a child, or care for a child properly, then don't have no kids. Don't have no kids. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Liz. Don't have no kids. So we back and forth to court, and then they put us on the stand. And they was asking us all these questions, this and that, this and that. And then they said to my grandma, they was like, listen, the judge said, the only way these 3 kids is leaving with you today, if you adopt them. You got to adopt your grandkids. Then that way, the person that carried them will not have access or no parental rights over them. It's all of you. And my grandma was like, if y'all would have told me to adopt them 90 days ago, now that they been in, because I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Because I told y'all I used to go home for lunch when I was in school. And I used to go home for lunch when I was in school. So that means my school Yes, it is. Thank you. I am letting it out, and it do feel good. My school was only a couple of blocks away from where my grandma lived. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. Give me a pay card, please. So I would sometimes sneak from school and go to my grandma's house, and my grandma would tell me, like, Bunny, you don't know who watching. Thank you so much. You don't know who watching the house. And I'm trying to get y'all here. And if you keep coming here and somebody ride past here and see you here and they ain't give you permission to be here, y'all ain't gonna be here. She only had to tell me that once. I stayed away. I stayed away. And then it was time. And we went to the court. And they was like, okay, your grandma, it's clear she's your mother now. She's not just your grandma, she's your mother now. She's your mother now. She was like, so you don't have to have contact with that other person never again. I was so happy. And they did give her a stipulation, like they put a protector order on my grandma's house so that she wasn't supposed to come, I think, in 500 feet of the house. Because somewhere in between it, they arrested her, but she got out quick. Because sometimes you think the system ain't even really for the kids. But that's another story. So now I'm happy I'm home. And now I'm not only helping raising my siblings, my uncle, one of my uncles at this time that had 2 kids of himself, and he out there smoking crack. So DHS came back to my grandma. Like, these 2 grandchildren of yours are about to be in the system. And my grandma was like, no. My grandma purchased a triplex. On the first floor, it was an efficiency apartment. On the second floor, it was a 2-bedroom apartment. And then on the third floor, it was a 1-bedroom apartment. So that the 1 bedroom was a room, a living room, and a kitchen or whatever. And some of those, it at one point in my life, y'all, I was watching 13 Kids. Real fucking talk. And I would be 16 and 17. 15. I was watching 13, 14 kids. Because let me tell you what happened. The person that had me kept having kids. But she kept leaving them in the house by themselves. And by this time, other people was calling DHS. So now, the case that she had stemmed from me is now all the way down to her other set of kids. So now, every time she do some dumb shit, they calling my grandma to take her kids. And she kept having kids. Y'all know why she ain't have no more fucking kids? Because she had to have a hysterectomy. Because I guarantee you, if she didn't have to have that, I probably would be telling you she had 16, 17 kids and probably wouldn't have took care of none of them, because that's what I'm getting at. She had all these kids. The only 2 set of kids that she raised, me and them, I'm old enough. Matter of fact, me and her was pregnant at the same fucking time. I ain't even get that far up. So my son and one of my sisters is only 5 months apart. Her birthday is this month in November. And my son is born in April. Me and her was pregnant. And I said to her, you couldn't even let me get pregnant by myself. You done fucked up all this other time. But you couldn't even let me get pregnant by myself. So, years is going on, y'all. I'm fast forwarding years. Like I said, I had 13 kids because she, by this time, DHS done took like 7 of her kids. And it's 9 of us. And They took 7. And all 7 of her kids was at my grandma's house. So all my siblings was at my grandma's house. Then my uncle, that's a smoker, that had 2 kids, was at my grandma's house. And by then he had 3 kids. And when I would have to go and come home from school as a teenager, I had responsibilities. I never had a fucking childhood. You know, people look at me and be like, damn, she's so, like, you can't read my face. You don't know, you really don't know how to take me. Because sometimes my face is speaking what I'm feeling. Don't fuck with me. So, by all this time, I got 13 kids under me. My grandma would cook Sunday, and she would label and write on there the instructions, what I had to do. Lasagna, keep it in there for 45 minutes at 350. Macaroni and cheese, do da 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 da. You know, it wasn't no microwaves all like that back then. You had to warm that shit in the oven. So it took time. But one thing I want to say, even though I was a child, all them people, them 13 people that was under me, all respected me. I was their mother. I was a mother before I was a mother. I was a mother since I was 6 years old, taking care of my brother that was 4. Changing his diaper, laying him on the floor, changing his diaper. I was a mother when I was a child. I was a mother before I was a mother. That's what I should name this live. I was a mother before I was a mother. Because that's my story, y'all. As they getting older, they listening to me, they doing whatever. But now, y'all, I'm getting tired of this. And I was 16 years old. And she came by. By this time, I had my brother that was under me, my sister Lady B that was under me, that the only one I talked to. I had these 2 other trifling people. It was my sister that was a situation that she has autism. And then it was a sister that was under her. And then a brother that was under her, that they was born in the same year. She had one in January and one in November in the same year. Like if you had 2 kids in 2024, that's how trifling she was. How you have 2 kids in the same year? One in January, because that one, her birthday is in January, and the other one that was born in the same year, birthday is in November. Man, goodbye. I'm gonna tell y'all. So I was 16. This is what I'm getting at. I was 16. And she came past the house high. And I was about 16 or 17, so I was in high school. I was no longer in Catholic school now. I was in public school, so I done switched the pitch. She came to the house. Now her kids is running around. Good night. Good night. Watch the replay so you can hear the ending, Grandma's Journey. She comes to the house, and my grandmama's sitting there. She's sitting over there. And she come in the house cursing at my grandma. Calling my grandmama a bitch. You ain't shit. You took all my kids. And I'm standing here. And I'm about 16 or 17. And I'm standing there. She's talking to my grandma. Now, y'all know my grandma is my mom. Because remember, she had to adopt me. So I'm standing there. Her kids is running all around the fucking house. I'm telling them to sit down, whatever. And she in there talking to my grandma. And I called her a bitch. And I told her, I said, listen, let me tell you now, this was the first and only time I cursed at my grandma. In front of my grandma. Because I never cursed my grandma. Never. My grandma was you. I'm gonna hurt you. Yep, I'm going to hurt you. And she was like, what? You came out of here. She said the words, you came out of here. And I was like, and what that mean? Because you ain't never do shit for me but whoop my ass. I said, try it now. Try it now. Hit me. I want you to. She hit me and I knocked that bitch the fuck out. My grandma was there yelling, nobody know. I don't want the cops. Don't call the cops. Nobody know. Don't call the cops. Calm down. I beat the shit out of her. I beat her so bad that she grabbed my hair because I always had long, nice, limp, pretty hair. She grabbed my hair. I leaned over, got in her back, and I bit her back till she got a mark on her back right now from me. She told my husband that. I said, now as I said, that's my mother and you ain't gonna disrespect her. You know what she did? Because what I forgot to tell y'all, in between this, why I really did it, is because when I was a child, somewhere maybe like 7 or 8, my grandma came to her house, but my grandma had a bad knee, even though she was still like a nurse. She had a bad knee and she was about to retire. That woman that carried me took my grandma cane and hit her upside her fucking head right in front of me. And I was a child. My grandma hit the ground. I ran over to my grandma. I was calling. Everybody called the cops. She went to jail for a little bit, but I never forgot that shit. And so when I got her and I beat the shit out of her that day, that was for my grandma. Yeah, that was for my grandma. Cause what you did to my grandma, I'm about to do it to you. But I ain't gonna take no cane and hit you upside. I'm gonna hit you with my fist. Needless to say, that was the last time she put her hands on me. So now, fast forward, we was pregnant together. After that, we was pregnant together, and I was mad at her. And I said, "Why you couldn't just even let me be pregnant by myself?" But it didn't mean that because she didn't even take care of them 2 kids. And then the 2 kids that she did take care of, it was because she was still with their dad. But in between all that, she had babies by several different men. So when I say never judge a book by its cover, I'm talking about me. Don't look at me and look at my exterior and be like, she don't smile or she don't. I smile and stuff like that. But for real, I got to get to know you. And when you know me, and if I fuck with you, you know it. You know how you know it? By how I talk to you or don't talk to you. I'm always going to be myself. But I will say, she has done so much to me that when my mother died, which is her mother, when my mother died in 2017, she didn't even come to the funeral. But she came to the repast with the food and she thought the money would be and this and that. She came to that shit. But she ain't come to see my mom for the last time. You wasn't there? She came to my sister's house, Lady B. She came to my sister's house. And I looked at her with so much hate, y'all. If my eyes could have strangled her and laid her down right then, I would have. Because at my mother repast, she's going to tell my daughter, this is what she says. Your mom don't fuck with me. This is now, my daughter was a teenager at this time, but this is what she tells my daughter, who you ain't never really, you ain't fuck with my baby. Like, you don't even know her. And she's with me because we are at a repast for my mother, because that ain't you. She tells my daughter, yeah, your mom don't fuck with me because, when she was a child, she was abused. I used to beat her ass. And how I found out is because me, my husband, and my son and my daughter is back on our way to the hotel room. And my daughter said to me, my grandmother, this is my daughter saying that. This is my daughter saying that about her. I said, what? Because I never told them not to call her grandma, but they even had sense enough not to call that bitch grandma. They had enough sense. I ain't never tell my kids that. They just knew that. I told her at that repast, before we pulled off, y'all, I said, listen, you know how you wasn't there today for grandma? You know how you wasn't there for my mother? When you die, just know I ain't coming. I meant that shit. People could feel how they want to feel when they hear that. That's mine. You wasn't there for my mother. You think I'm going to be there for you, and you ain't never been there for me? Don't work like that. So, never, if you have children, listen, my grandma we shopped at the fucking thrift store. Because she had so many kids to clothe until I got a job at 18 and was working at Payless. Thank you so much. Y'all, when I tell y'all that, sharing that stuff is crazy, but it's helping me. It's releasing stuff. But when I told my sister Lady B, who I'm in contact with, like, listen, if something ever happened to her, you don't even contact me, sis, real talk. But if I do, I give $200. Just because I know that's what my grandma would want me to do. That ain't for her. That's for my mother, my grandma. That's what that's for. My grandma. My mom. I'm telling y'all, never look at a person and see their exterior, because as I started off and saying, I was a mother before I was a mother. Thank you so much, y'all, for the hugs, the kisses. I appreciate that. I was a mother before I was a mother. And so that made me, like, I always tell my husband, I missed my calling. I should have been in the service. Because I had been a mother all my life. I'm so like, people have even asked me, hey, was you ever in the service? Because you like a drill sergeant. Like, it's just in me. Fast forward, y'all. I haven't spoken to her. First of all, even at my grandma repast, after I said what I said to her, that was the last time I spoke to her, and that was in 2017. Have I missed her? No. Because you wasn't never there to go to the nail shop. Like, I never had that experience where I could be like, me and my mom going to the nail shop. Like, I'm going to tell y'all, that shit used to hurt me when I would hear people be saying, oh, for Mother's Day, I'm taking my mom to get her nails done. I can never say that. It never happened. I can never say, oh, at Mother's Day, I'm going to go here and meet my mom, and we going to go. I can't say that. It never happened. Like, that's not my story. You see? So I just want you to know I'm good. No, I'm good. Me telling this stuff is because I decided that it's all the way live in 25. It's all the way live. Listen, I don't see nothing but growth from me next year. And that's why all this baggage that I've been holding on to for years and wanting to release, I'm releasing it. Yeah, I'm releasing it. It's mine to let go. Because when I step in 25, everything is going to be live for me. Y'all don't even know. Wait till you see. Like, wait till you see. And, you know, it's a lot of stuff. Like I said, I ain't never had it. And my grandma wasn't able to give me that because she always had kids to tend to. Like I did when I was there. Until I met my husband. Y'all, when I met my husband and I was 18, like about to turn 19, it was like, I feel like he was my superhero. Because I started saying, fuck them kids. Like, it was bad. Like, it was bad. Because my grandma would still be working and she had to retire because I was with my husband and we was going places. He's 5 years older than me. We was, hey, all things with Kay. Hey, Kay. Yo, the bunny troopers. The bunny troopers. Bunny troopers. The bunny troopers. But listen, I say that to say, this was my part 2 because I just wanted you to know, like the bunny you see now, yes, shout out to Mr. Red because you know my baby been here with me, like I said, since 18 to 19. Like, you know, I was young. He snatched me up young. He knew I was a good girl. He knew I was a good girl. Listen, thank you for coming. I want to get a shout outs to everybody that took time out and also to my replay game. And Tanya, I got you. Liz, I got you. Listen, I truly appreciate you, and Barbie, thank you as well. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Y'all helping me out with my live tonight. Y'all being, here listening to Bunny. And at the end of the day, Bunny is what, because of what she went through. Like that real talk you get from me is because of my life. That's the only way I know to be. Right? It's me. But I will say, definitely shout out to my husband, Mr. Rabbit. Because we've been together, y'all, 32 years. And we've been through some shit. Some real shit. But I'm going to tell you, at the end of the day, my husband has always had my back. Like, always. And I am so blessed. And I thank God. And I thank him every morning he wakes me up for blessing me with my husband. Because I definitely have a good man. I'm telling you. Because through all that shit I've been through, and when I told him my story, and he been through shit with me, with her, because he would be in the middle. Because when we would be married, when she would see us and we would be out in the street, this is how fucked up she was. She would go to him. Listen, if I was standing right here and he was up here, she would walk past me to get to him and be like, hey, Rabbit, I want to talk to my grandkids. And he'd be like, go talk to your daughter. She's standing right there. I'm asking you. This is what she would say. I'm asking you. Almost like still, even as a grown woman, she called herself not respecting me. So then I told her, hey, listen, leave them alone. Because you ain't going to be there for them like you wasn't there for me. Basically. So disrespectful. And I would tell her, he would be like, I wish you and her just talk. I wish y'all just, he don't realize that all that trauma I went through before we got together and with the trauma that I went through while me and him was together pertaining to her, like, I hate her. And he always be telling me like, baby, don't say that, baby, this, I understand, but I be telling him like, you don't understand because you was raised with your parents. And he always tell me, your grandparents, baby, is your parents. He always tells me that. He always would be like, your parents is your grandparents. He's like, you know that, right? He always say that. And I'd be like, yeah, I know that. But it would be funny to hear him say that. I'd be like, all right, baby, you right. Okay. All right, baby. He'd be like, no, dig that. Like, sit in that, baby. But guys, I know I done talked to y'all. Thank you for popping in. Mr. Rabbit, you here? Come here. Come here and say hi. Come here. Just come here. Because they all been giving you shout outs. Just come here.
Hello.
Just say,
hello.
They can't see you over there. Maybe it's like you.
Hello, bunny hoppers.
So listen, guys. Bunny got to go hopping. Bunny got to go hopping. Bunny got to go hopping. All right. Thank y'all. Good night. Bunny troopers, bunny troopers, bunny troopers. Bunnies. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Baby, turn up. You gotta hit the X.
Where?
They all saying hi, Mr. Raymond.
What's up? Let me see.
Go ahead, hit the X, baby, right there.
Here?
Over. You don't sit. Don't turn the camera. Just come over. Look. Come look where it's at. Look where it's at.
Here?
Over. Some more. Over. Now hit. There you go. Now go down there and hit OK. That's canceled. Now you starting to live.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Baby. You started the live again.
Okay.
Go ahead, hit OK.
Here?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. Hit OK.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby.
Oh my God, baby.
I'm so
hit
sorry.
Now hit OK. Thank you. All right, baby. It's going off. But